What's going on in Cherokee County? Good friends across the world, from the bays of Montego to the shores of California, and everybody in the big world of watching Big Matt and Diamond Dean. We do appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time out of your Sunday to spend with us. Tonight, we're going to be talking about local basketball play, Spring Garden Sandrock. We're going to do some SEC basketball breakdown. Diamond Dean's got some good stuff for us. And some coaching changes and some news in the SEC, maybe where some players are going and that kind of stuff. And we'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl and review it a little bit. So, what's been going on today?
Nothing much, man. I went up north this weekend.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Pretty good. Supposed to get a lot of eyes, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Supposed to around here too, right?
Yeah. There's going to be some weather moving in.
We're gonna
probably this evening. Now.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
I'll mention this evening. We're going to have some things happen here in the community with some young boys that we know. Really close and really personally. So we're going to have a little candlelight thing over there at 6 at Cedar Bluff Park. So if you'd like to come and join us and pray with us for the families and stuff that's going on, we'd all appreciate it. That's why we're going on.
Keep those young men in your prayers. Yeah, that's terrible. Yes, that's why we're going on.
Yeah, I'm going to get over there and just pray for them and the family and what's going on. It's really hard.
Is it at the park?
Yeah. We'll get into our sponsors. First of all, we'd like to thank Scott Lloyd and legal team, and Scott coming on board with us. Of course, Warrior Gym. They've been hanging in there with us forever, guys. If you need a membership, looking for a gym home, no better place to go than Warrior Gym. Holler at Jonathan. And, of course, the girls over at Dairy King, man. They always got good fresh food from burgers and shrimp.
I got to eat there. I ain't ate there yet.
Yeah, you got to get over there, man. They got great food. And, of course, Kevin Stargell, his lawn and landscaping. If you have anything of that sort of nature that you want to do, Kevin, he's your guy.
Can he fix toilets?
He probably can. I guess we'll get into...
your wife's watching. Keith Talbert, what's up?
What's up,
Chris
guys?
Goss.
Chris, what's going on, buddy?
Chris, we hope everything's going to be okay with Luke.
Yeah, man, we love you guys. We're praying for you. Well, I guess I would like to say this. First of all, we'll lead off with this. The game over there the other night, Dean, these are your tournament MVPs. Of course, Cade, Gavin, and Jacob Weston, and Cooper. What a fantastic game it was. I'm glad I got to go over there and be a part of that.
That's the all-tournament teams. So you got Ballinger, Sharp, St. Clair, Kirk, and Austin. Mm-hmm. Those guys will always have respect for each other, too.
Well, it's just been such a...
And remember the times they played against each other.
It's just been it's been a great series.
I know, even though Sandrock's won them all, it's been great.
Yeah, you never know who's going to win. I told Daniel the other night, I walked by and I said, you know what? Vegas don't want to pick this game. I mean, it's been decided by 9 points combined in the other 3.
Yes, and last night was 9.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of weird that it turned out that way. It is.
Went to overtime once.
Yeah.
2 points one time, right?
Over there at Sandrock, yeah.
Yeah. It's been very entertaining, I'll say that. And somebody told me today they expect them to possibly meet again.
Yeah, it's very possible they could get down there and meet.
Championship.
Yeah,
it is possible, and so the next round, they're on to the round of 32 now. So in 2 more rounds, if they both keep winning, they will meet in the round of 8 to go to the semifinals.
Jacksonville.
They'll meet for the 5th time.
Now, from what I hear, it looks like Midfield and North Sand Mountain are going to be teams that kind of stand in the way of Spring Garden and Sandrock. Making it down that far.
I've heard North Sand scores about 90-something points a game.
Yeah, they're getting 100 points a game on people.
That's just amazing.
Fife held them to 82, I think.
Did Fife beat them?
No.
Okay.
From what I've been told, they run trap and press just all night. You know how Joe used to play the boys at Cedar Bluff?
Like Tyreek and them play? Yes, they trap and stuff.
At the start of the game, when you inbound the ball, they're trapping you.
Yes.
That's what they're doing. And when they bring the ball down, they're shooting it, and they don't miss.
Wow. I'm sure that with that, they also get a lot of easy shots, too.
Well, and that's, Tuesday night, that's what's going on we're going to try to.
Yeah, we're going to try to.
We're going to try to make it up there and see what's going on Tuesday night.
North Sand Mountain, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they may have the state record for, or they're either one or two for the most points ever averaged by a high school team in Alabama state history.
Yeah.
In a year. Now, not this year. I'm talking 30 years ago. This has been going on for a while with them off and on.
Yeah, some people just think it's a new thing, I guess,
No.
for North Sand Mountain to be good at basketball. It's not. It's been this way since the early 90s.
And what I can't figure out and what blows my mind, and I talked to somebody about it the other day, the coach back in the 80s and 90s was a guy named Glenn Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? His son's the coach now, and Glenn Hicks helps. Okay, and he coached those two teams, and they're scoring 90 and 100 points. And he goes to Trenton, Georgia, to Dade County to be the coach for a while, and they do the same thing. 90 points a game, 80 points a game. Torrey McDaniel will tell you, he coached at your team, and he'd shoot your eyes out.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I just want to know what Glenn Hicks does to teach. How does he get kids to shoot better? I mean,
all of his practice and how he probably lays things out, his scheme, and how he's getting the right players the ball and that kind of stuff.
But I mean, he did coach at Fort Payne, and they did well. But now they didn't score like that.
Yeah.
But they still did well. But I don't know. He's at least coached at 3 different, and helping with this team. His son obviously runs the same style he does, where you just get up and down the floor and you score a lot of points.
Yeah, well, that's kind of last night for you that didn't get to make it, but a lot of people watched on the internet, FHS, the game of the night.
I wasn't able to get anything pulled up.
Spring Garden jumps out quick, to like 11-2, 11-4, and it just felt like they were stealing the electricity out of the building over there at Sandrock. You could just feel it.
Right.
They were coming in, Weston and Cooper and Riley. And Cam's played good. He's come in and playing good.
Oh, Mike's son. Well,
yeah. So about middle, probably wasted the second quarter, Sandrock adjust, and then it stayed close all night. And then after halftime, it just kind of went back and forth. The Garden missed a few free throws here and there, missed a few shots here and there.
They usually don't miss free throws.
Yeah, those little bitty things. I mean, both of these teams are so good.
Mm-hmm. That's
the things that loses game. Just those small, little, tiny things, and it just happened to be them that night. Just the little things they missed. And Xander, number 5, big kid, he was snagging balls off the backboard.
Yeah,
and
they're huge.
Cade wound up being the MVP for the game. He come in and had like 2 threes before halftime. I think he had like 2 or 3 after. And he said he went to Coach Blackwell, and had said he noticed something, how Spring Garden was setting up their defense, and he seen a way to tackle that.
Right.
And Coach Blackwell's like, okay.
Well,
so that's what he said. He said the MVP players noticed those things, and I let them adjust. I mean, it's.
I think that's one of the great things about Coach Blackwell, and probably Austin too. They kind of let their guys play.
Right.
There's not a lot of bogged down. You got to run this offense. You got to run this play. Run it, and if you don't, you're coming out. It's just
yeah. You notice both coaches, him and Coach Austin and Coach Howard. I mean, I watched the coaches too during the game, and they're not talking a whole lot to the kids. Every once in a while, you say, go across or clear out. Or,
yeah.
But mostly, man, you got 2 talented groups like this, and the coaches know.
Well, they can.
You just kind of let them play.
They kind of adjust to the game on their own, not taking nothing away from either coach.
Yeah.
And you'll ask the kids, and like, what do you like about the coach? And they're like, well, he just kind of lets us.
Yeah. Well, when you're good,
we're not going out there like a bunch of maniacs.
Yeah. When you're good, you're good.
He makes sure we keep good spacing.
Yeah.
And.
Well, Cade just had got a hot spot in the game, and he said, to his, recollect there, when players get hot, we just kind of stand behind them, and that's just kind of what we do. And if it's Jacob one night, or if it's Gavin had a good game, man. He come in and had a few threes, and he was rebounding. They're just so long-armed down there. The Justice kid, and their second opportunity points. That was a big part of the game.
Right. Second chance rebounding.
If they would shoot and they would miss, comes off the backboard, off the rim, boom,
Right.
Xander, Justice, Gavin, one of them's up there running the rim, knocking it back in.
Well, with them having a good shooting guard, a good number 3, and a great point guard, and the 2 bigs, which would be the Justice and the Bradley kid.
Yeah.
And then you also have got Logan Wood.
Yep.
Coming off the bench, and he's a good. You got depth. They got a good chance.
He's a good 2 or 3 guy.
Yeah.
I mean, position wise.
Yeah.
He can play in or out.
I will say this: that probably might be what's getting them over Spring Garden. Spring Garden's good.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't think they have as much depth. You said Cam was playing pretty good.
Yeah, man. These when I went.
Chaz Pope too.
Yeah, Chaz. I went the other night, and Chaz come out of the gate when they were playing Heflin. He was stealing the inbounds right at the beginning of the game, and I mean he had like 6 points like that.
See, I don't even know if he may start, but he's big, the Justice boy, and the games I went to, he didn't start. He come off the bench, and Logan Wood did too.
He dunked one the other night when I was up there the other day. Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
Well they got, they're a high school team in rural.
Yeah.
I hate saying that.
Say that word fast 3 times.
Rural, Neil Colley. What do you think about this? A high school team in rural Alabama with 3 guys that can jam it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
At least 3.
Us older
maybe
people,
more.
We remember, the days when Ralph and Pee Wee and them, all the Sandrock bunch up there. They were good, man.
They were, but I don't think they have nowhere near as good a team as this.
I agree with that statement.
No, they were good. They were good.
But Ralph and Pee Wee were their own.
Well, they might have that one year. They won 27 games that one year. Mom lost a couple. They may have been as good.
94.
I take guys. I did not say they wasn't as good. Okay.
94, 95
would have been 94.
Yeah, I remember that, man.
Got upset, and I think they made it to the.
They come over here and played us
semis.
At Cedar Bluff.
The region championship. My bad.
Yeah.
8 teams left, and they got beat barely.
Cam Welsh also had 6 points and 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal for Spring Garden. He said we had the lead, but we just couldn't maintain it. And he said he gives all the credit to them. They were just stinking good. That they do a great job of what they do. Something about Sandrock, and it's a good road game. It's going to be tough going over there. So now, looks like Sandrock's going to host Section.
Who's usually got a good history of being pretty good.
Spring Garden's going to have to
go up
North Sand Mountain, which we're going to try to be at North Sand and cover that game. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. But
so that'll be Tuesday, and then over the weekend they'll play their Sweet 16 game, and then the next week they'll play the region championships if they keep winning at Jackson.
Yeah,
just that one game.
Gets into March. Yeah, 1st of March.
Yeah,
end of the month.
Then you got the Final Four.
Today's the 14th.
Yeah, happy Valentine's.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. To my wife, happy Valentine's Day. I love you.
Christy Selman's watching. She said, hey, I'm talking about your wife. And Christy Selman and Neil College watching. Keith Talbert.
Hey, guys. How are y'all? We appreciate you.
Keith wanted to know if that was me or you playing on that guitar.
That was Dean. Yeah. We've been working on that, man. We've been holding it back, but that's what we do, man.
Yeah. Then we're going to start doing that instead of sports.
Right, yeah. We're just going to play guitar, let Dean play. Break us into some SEC basketball. We'll get out of local coverage, and like I said, we'll be up Tuesday night to cover North Sand.
Hold up. And, I got a question for you. I'm sorry. I'm obviously the Spring Garden girls won, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how did the Cedar Bluffs boys wind up? I was out of town.
They lost it at Woodville.
Okay.
Yeah, they finished their regular season off, so
they improved a lot. They got They got a ton of players coming back. They lost Ombre League, and I hear Gales got a lot coming back.
Yeah,
but so Woodville ended up winning that.
Yeah.
Who did Woodville play in the championship?
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
I was running around over here doing Sandrock Spring Garden stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't.
All right, I just had to ask that. So Todd can't even pick his nose. Hey, that's inappropriate.
Come on, man. It's the child. Kids watch this, man.
SEC basketball, Roll Tide. What do you think about that?
Alabama's playing better. I mean, they have an all-time history of scoring the most points in an SEC basketball game other night.
115 yesterday. 18 threes, Matt. 18 out of 30. Now, you hit 18 out of 50, and you're like, wow. They hit 18 out of 30.
That's something else, man.
Talk about demoralizing to the defense, and then people go, well, why can't you stop that? Well, you try to stop it. Then they just ride around you. Well, let's just get right on them, man to man, not let them have any threes. Well, you can't. It don't work like that. Basketball's not as easy as people think.
No. How about what about Mizzou now? Since we're going to talk SEC, what about at Mizzou? They're really on a tear right now.
Well, they actually yesterday Arkansas beat them, and Arkansas has moved into second. Alabama's 12-1. They're 3 games ahead of everybody. Arkansas and LSU are 8-4. Tennessee 7-5, and Florida is 6-4 in conference. If if the tournament started right now, there may be 6 teams get in, which would be Alabama.
Now Kentucky's going to have to win out to get in.
They've decided now they're not. They're 6-13. I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Missouri, Tennessee. Missouri's not even in the top 5, but I know there's a lot of talk that they may get in. You know, they actually had a quality win. They beat Alabama. So Arkansas, obviously, Alabama, Missouri, Tennessee is probably going to be in. I mean, you know, they beat Kansas. And you've also got LSU and Florida. They're also doing well. Now, behind them is Ole Miss, Auburn, Kentucky. Kentucky upset Auburn yesterday. But, you know, Auburn's 500. Kentucky's 6-13. And it was in Kentucky. I don't know if you can really call it
they're both
an upset.
They're both struggling right now a good bit. You know, it is what it is.
I'm anxious to see who the SEC Player of the Year is going to be. I know the best player in the SEC is considered to be the guy from Auburn, Cooper,
yeah.
Sharif Cooper. But
usually
you got to give it to somebody from Alabama, I would think, if they win out.
How the media is, and we all know, it's the team that's winning. So, you know, like Petty or somebody.
I would think it might be Petty. It could be Cooper, but
they're just not playing good.
No, and
it might be the right thing to do to give it to Cooper. We're not saying it's not, but we're saying how the media is, and we're not the media because we're just a low-string bunch of guys that are unannounced, unrehearsed.
Well, Alabama does. Petty don't do everything for Alabama.
We're not giving statements or write-ups. Remember talking about that, how ESPN guys are giving papers, you pick this side, you pick this side. Right. This is not what goes on here. This is free will, communist-free, come one, come all, and comment on the page what you would like.
The only way that somebody
from a losing team to win it,
you might have to go with Cooper.
Yeah,
he would be the only one on that below or a 500 or below team that could win it. But I'd say right now it may be Petty or Cooper.
Yeah,
unless there's some stud that I got to read more into Arkansas. I mean, but like I said, they're 3 games back. Alabama has a 3-game lead, and there's not a lot of time left for the tournament.
No,
so they may clinch in the next couple of weeks if they keep winning. But 115 points.
But, well, I mean, when you get hot, you know, when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. That's what Jerry Reed said.
GGG.
Go
Garden, go.
Go Garden, go. Yeah. Now, they'll be up, like we said, they'll be at North Sand Mount Tuesday, and we're going to try to go cover that game, Lord willing, and the creek don't freeze. Because we do have some winter weather coming in on us tonight at about 6 o'clock until Monday evening about 6. We're going to be under big winter weather watch.
People got to be careful on that ice.
Rural Alabama winter weather watch.
On my way back from Kentucky, and there wasn't even any ice, very little. 2 wrecks. One just smashed on the side of the road. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't think people can drive as adequately as they used to. That, you know, because you've seen all that big terrible accident out in Texas, and I have a friend of ours, of Sylvia's, that she drives a truck, and she's like, people just don't pay attention.
Well, I will say this, and I'm not saying there's a correlation, but right on the Tennessee-Kentucky line, right there in that part of Tennessee, Scott County, Tennessee, there's 6 beer joints in a 2-mile radius.
So you're saying that they may be stopping there on their way to their home to have a beverage and having a few too many beverages.
6 beer joints, Matt.
Yeah, you're talking about from
I'm talking about
Rising Fawn, and
I'm talking about from
up there,
Draketown Gas to the country store.
Yeah.
Distance. There's 6 beer joints.
Yeah.
And they're packed out a lot. I don't know what's going on up there. It's none of my business. But I know y'all won't get into talking about beer joints, but it's odd. But there were 2 wrecks right before you got to them, which, you know, I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Maybe the ice beer combination.
That could be. We'll stick around with the SEC and we'll share some news with you. The SEC, Vanderbilt has hired a new coach, Clark Lee. He's a former defensive coach of Notre Dame. Coach Lee played at Vanderbilt. He graduated from Montgomery Bell Academy, and he played baseball at Birmingham Southern.
Wow.
He walked on at Vandy to play football. He replaces Coach Derek Mason from his 7-year run He was 27-55, 2 bowl appearances, and he had 3 wins over Tennessee, Dean. So, Coach Lee, I watched the interview with him on Feinbaum. He's saying all the right things, and he's dotting all the T's and crossing all the I's, and he's really adamant upon saying to make sure that everybody knows that we know Vanderbilt's an academic college.
It's a tough school to coach football.
But he wants to make it to be where it also can be a football school.
Right.
So we can play football, and we can be aggressive in the classroom and as well on the football field.
Football field.
But Coach Lee, and he knows this, he's a smart guy, super intelligent. Okay, if he went to Vanderbilt, he's got to be smart.
Yeah, you don't go there with 2.0.
No. It starts in recruiting. So, Coach Lee, you're going to have to get out there and knock on doors. And he said he's excited. He's ready to go out there and start knocking on doors and sitting in living rooms and talking to kids, which is where it starts. If you want to be prominent in the SEC and you want to compete with the Alabamas and the LSUs,
and Georgia,
you got to have kids on the team that can play football.
But, I will say this. I got on a Vanderbilt blog the other day.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. They do not rip Mason.
They don't?
No, they do not. He's doing as good as he can.
It's just kind of an assorted thing that...
Now, this was last year, but he didn't do well last year. 2-9, 3-8. But this year they didn't win a game that I know of. I think they didn't win. I don't think they won a football game.
You got to have kids, man. It's just about dudes. You got to have dudes in the trenches up there, and you need to be pretty deep, especially on defense. You need a few rows deep on defense. You can't just go out there with a good one string anymore. This is not 1977 Alabama versus Notre Dame where you just have a great starting duo. It's so competitive now. You have teams like UCF that have good football programs.
Yeah.
Well,
but it wasn't a normal fan site where coaches are just being blasted. Mason was not being torched. It was actually remarkable. I mean, fans were actually coming to his defense.
Well, it is what it is.
You like to play in that conference with kids from Vanderbilt. Once you go, it's kind of that.
Well,
that kind of attitude.
Well, what are you going to do? I mean, like I just said, if you don't have the kids there, then ain't nothing you can do about it, and you got to be able to recruit.
Sean Kilgrove's watching. What do you think, Sean? You think Derek Mason did a good job? We know he just did not seem to, from their fans, to be getting a lot of bashing. A little bit, but not bad. And I know they think he's a great hire at Auburn. And, I've seen that nationwide, that was a good hire.
Yeah.
They say he's great defensively.
Well, I guess, we could say, and moving on around in the SEC, I think he'll do good there. By the way, we'll end with Coach Lee. I think we'll see how he can recruit. We'll go into SEC. Shane Beamer at South Carolina, he come on back last year. They announced him as being coach from 2011 to 2015. He was assistant at VTech with his father, Frank. He is an up-and-coming rising star as a coach. They do speak highly of him. A lot of the other coaches, seem to think he's got a good attitude, and his character towards the kids is good. His rapport with them also.
I'm not 100% sure that Muschamp had great rapport.
Yeah, and
he seemed like he was just about ready to explode all the time.
That's just his personality. It is. When he was at Auburn, he was just half juiced all the time.
Yeah.
Now, Coach Beamer, the young Beamer, Shane, he's been in Oklahoma with Coach Riley as an assistant coach 2016 and 17, and at Georgia as a tight end coach. He was nominated for Assistant Coach of the Year back in 2009 at South Carolina.
Who was he? Oh, I guess he was.
In 2009.
Would that have been Spurrier?
Right, yeah. He was helping him, helping him with offense and that kind of stuff. Now,
is that right, Spurrier? Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I know
the year
Muschamp wasn't there 12 years.
Bama played. Well, they beat us.
Garcia?
Yeah.
2010. Yeah. Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Well, if he's Frank Beamer's son, I'm going to say he probably knows a lot of football.
Probably been around football a lot. And like Dean just mentioned, Muschamp, he's back at Georgia.
Is he the defensive coordinator?
Yeah, what do y'all think about that? How do y'all feel about...
I kind of like it.
How do y'all kind of feel about that?
I always thought he did a good job as a D coordinator. He was D coordinator at Auburn, Texas, LSU.
Never did a bad job.
For Saban.
Yeah.
So, did real well for Tuberville. I think their woes back then were on offense. It wasn't on defense. And I guess he was at Texas for a little bit. I know he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good hire. I mean, he's from Darlington.
Yeah.
So local guy.
Sticking around the SEC, we know the draft is coming. It's way too early to talk about draft picks because there's so much of that out there already, and Mel Kiper's board is already out there, and most of you guys follow that kind of
board's
stuff.
Up before college football starts.
It is. So y'all already got a kind of idea, and Mr. E's going to come on in a couple of weeks, and we'll do a draft board.
Yeah, he knows that draft stuff.
We'll talk about Mac Jones. I had put a poll out there on a Side Note show if they felt like he would be a good replacement for Drew Brees. Most people by the poll said yes. Now, it's going to be hard to judge Mac, personally, by me. How do we know how good he is when you're playing with the best receivers and the best offensive line in the nation?
Right.
And you got all day to throw, and you're throwing to the best receiver in the country. So how good really is Mac?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
I wish him the best, but
we'll see how he does. These are some other guys going out. Of course, we know Jamar Chase. Dean was real high on him. We kept on him, watched him last year. He had opted out. So he is going to be going to the draft.
In that, but
Surtain from Bama. He's going to be a high pick, I'm sure. Kyle Pitts from Florida. J.C. Horn, cornerback from South Carolina, really good football player. Nick Bolton, linebacker at Mizzou. And, of course, Waddle and Smith from Bama.
I think, obviously, Smith's going to go high, but I think Waddle's going to.
I do, too.
I think somebody's going to snatch him up pretty quick.
What about
Keener can return you punts and kickoffs, too,
What about Elijah Moore? Now, we talked about him before the show.
Man, he's awesome.
What do you think about him?
I like him.
Like he's a first rounder? And you got Waddle and Smith both. I mean, it's going to be tough.
Possibly. I don't know. Treadwell didn't go in the first round, but he supposedly is better than Treadwell. Of course, DK Metcalf came from Ole Miss. He's one of the best receivers in the league. So Ole Miss has kind of got a name for having some pretty good receivers out there.
Marshall, too, from LSU. All right.
Now, I think he's very good. Terrence.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Now, Bobby Brown, not that Bobby Brown, but he's a defense tackle from A&M. Tyson Campbell, one of the D-backs from Georgia. And, of course, Barmore from Bama. He really had a good game in the title game. Barmore did.
He's tough.
Now, what about you guy from the Davis kid from Kentucky?
I hadn't heard a whole lot about him.
Jamian Davis?
I know they got some good defensive players, though. What position is he? Is he a...
I think he plays interior.
Interior, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they used to do well on defense. And I'll tell you something, if you've noticed, Kentucky has a lot of players do good in the pros.
They do.
I mean, I know their football program as a whole is not really... It's gotten better, but it's not really a mountain of respect. But they have some guys do really well in pro football.
Now, talking about big guys, you center from Georgia Bulldogs, you got Trey. He'll be leaving too, and of course Moses from Bama. We know he's going. And then Auburn's got a couple of guys: Schwartz and Tutt, Sherwood, Seth Williams, and then the guy from Florida, the Wilson kid.
Schwartz, I'd say, will get drafted just based on his speed. He's the fastest guy in the country.
There's 5. We just named 4 or 5 good receivers.
Yes. Yeah.
So the first round is going to be full of good receiving corps.
I'd say Schwartz. Yeah. And there's no way Schwartz does. And I know Schwartz had a pretty good year, and he don't have mind-boggling stats, but fastest guy in the nation in college. He's faster than Waddle or Ruggs.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
But he's not very big.
No. Well, I mean, like Smith too. I mean, he's not a large guy, but he's a great. He runs his route so crisply and so cleanly. He's just very hard to cover.
Yeah.
But he'll put some size on. We'll see that as he gets into pro days and that kind of stuff. And speaking of pro days, they're going to have some private pro days for the guys at Bama, and Trevor Lawrence is going to have a personal pro day, which I think he's already had just the other day, and it looked like he done pretty well.
Yeah.
In the pro day, he did okay. Throwed some low balls.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of stock's probably going to go into his field time as being a general out there on the field since he was
8th grade, 7th,
8th grade. To win.
He might have been a Pee Wee quarterback too.
A lot of football games. Well, I don't think he was because his dad told the story that he couldn't get him off the skateboard.
Off the skateboard when he was 10 or 11.
Yeah. 12. He's like, I want you to play football. No, I'm riding a skateboard. But we've seen how that turned out for him.
Well, now. What was we just talking about? So I was going to say something about the
pro days and stuff.
Man, I had something good too. I'll come back to it.
Well, the pro days, Alabama and Auburn, they're going to have some workout days to see where guys are going to go in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players moving on from there. And also, don't forget now, A-Day, spring football game. I put the day up on the page. It's going to be April. It's going to be around my birthday or something.
Yeah, we went to that one year. Good game.
Yeah, Alabama won.
Yeah, they did. I was like, what? Yeah, they did. Got in easily. I've been to it twice. You just walk in. Now, that might not be the case this
I
year.
know. Yeah, that's probably going to be the temperature checker, and you got to have a mask on. But we'll see what's going on by April.
Oh, what I was going to say was size. We talked. Jerry Rice wasn't. He was skinny.
Yeah.
He's the greatest football player ever. Well, that might be argued now. And we'll get to that in a minute. But, I did see a list where he's considered the greatest football player ever.
And he's from just a little hometown place in Mississippi. That's where he played ball, and just a good, hard-working.
He's tall. I mean, obviously an athlete.
Hard-working, humble guy.
Yes.
Very humble. Never seen him really dance, never talking in interviews after the game.
I don't think I've ever heard anything on Jerry Rice. Negative.
I hadn't either. Well, we'll get kind of loaded up here and roll into the last spot of the show, the NFL. Well, Dean.
Wow, Super Bowl.
We know this
Shocker.
has been cut about 1,000 times, and we know you guys don't want to hear this, and we'll probably lose half our watchers right now. Because it's been talked about already so much. But we do know who won the game. We have all those facts. But the winners of the games is those guys right there, just popped on your screen.
Oh, my God.
These guys won the game. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, all the Tom Brady talk and all the spoof about Tom Brady, everybody can say what they want to. And my comments on Facebook were congratulations to him and what a great career he's had.
Right.
To win the Super Bowls and go to 10. And, I mean, it's a great accolade. But statistically, he was outplayed by the quarterback on the other team.
He had more yards, yes. He didn't have to do as much.
Right.
Tom did.
Exactly.
Tom Brady did.
And I'm not a fan of Kansas City again, or Tampa Bay. I'm actually a Titans fan. So when I put down somebody, or not put down, but bring life to facts of stats, I'm just sharing what the news is. I don't write the stats, but when I share those stats, and then you're saying that I'm crying about it or I'm butthurt, why would I cry? I don't cry. Number one, I ain't cried since I lost my mama, and two, there's nothing to cry about. My team's not even playing, Dean.
No, I don't care nothing about either.
I'm personally not a Tom Brady fan. That don't mean I don't like him.
I caught myself pulling more for Kansas City.
And it don't mean he's had a fantastic career. He's a fantastic football player. He seems like a good guy. He gives a lot to his communities and establishments. Yes. And he's just a good American guy, And then they wanted to play some of the race stuff into it, which we don't do on this show. But it was, if you're pulling for Tom Brady, then you're racist because you didn't pull for Mahomes because it was Black History Month or something, or it's coming, or what?
Yeah.
Really? No, I'm not going to do that. So, no.
I didn't pull for – I wasn't for either one of them, really.
Right, and that's how we can say, neutrally, we can just share the news with you guys and say, this is what happened in the game, and we said on the air, we like Kansas City to win. However, if the Bucs defense gets home, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Didn't you say it was considered the most pressure
in a
ball game?
They set a Super Bowl record. It was, 19
hurries.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Barrett, Sue.
I don't care if Tom Brady and Mahomes, if they swap spots, Tom don't win.
No.
Mahomes would have been the winning quarterback if he played for Tampa Bay.
And Levante David, and Devin White. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Kelsey had some catches. They moved the ball down the field at times. They couldn't really get a running game going. Kansas City rushed for 107. It's not good enough. But they throwed for 243. But the time of possession and those kind of things are kind of the little factors in a game. 69 total plays to 63 total plays for the Bucs.
I thought Fournette had a good game.
He sure did.
I'm
and we
proud,
said that.
Proud of that.
He was our picks. I said if Honey Badger has a good game, he needs to step up. And he didn't. He just didn't.
I think he felt like they were rough on them.
The calls were.
Yes.
There was 2 or 3 calls that were, and like I said, we're
very rough on them.
I don't care who won the game.
He had an interception.
But we can say what we see. And what we seen was there was some bad calls. The guy Evans falls down.
Yes.
And they set him up for a first and goal play.
Yeah.
And Kansas City, 3 guys drops touchdowns. He hit them in the face.
Yeah.
with a ball, and they dropped it. So there's 21 points. Now the score was 31-9. So let's add 21 to 9. What would that be?
Yeah, I know.
What would that be? 30, right?
I'm sorry. I thought you meant 21. Yes, that would be 31-30. Yeah.
It's a different game.
I will say this for the receivers. I'm sure that one guy just thought he was down. He was falling. And you remember that?
When Mahomes was...
Yeah, man, he's actually falling down.
And made a fantastic throw.
Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome.
And he'll be back. He's already won a Super Bowl. And they made some comparisons on Facebook to him and Cam Newton, which was very unfair to Mahomes. He's already a Super Bowl champ. Cam was trying to win a Super Bowl, and a lot of people,
right,
from everywhere around the nation, from all different walks of life, felt like Cam give up in that game.
Right.
His body language.
Well, that game was closer.
It seemed like by watching him, Cam just...
His body language is awful.
His head
There's
dropped.
no doubt about that.
And his arms went down, so that's not a fair comparison.
And Mahomes is not. I'm sorry.
He's a Super Bowl champ and MVP.
His body language is not bad.
So
I wouldn't want to talk to Cam Newton when he comes to the sideline. I ain't going to tell you that.
Yeah, as a coach, I'm sure.
He looks like he's just mad.
Yeah, he's bothered. He don't like losing, which nobody does. But it's how you handle those situations,
right.
How you get up and respond.
I didn't like the comparison. Basically, what the comparison was is why is nobody getting on Mahomes? They got on Cam.
Because they played different. They played different. The game was not the same. It's apples and oranges.
Nobody was ever on Cam because he had pressure on him.
No,
they were on it because he comes, and that may just be him. He may be the happiest guy in the world, but he looks like he's mad.
Yeah, it seems like he's bothered. So
he's giving up.
There ain't many more ways we can cut the Super Bowl up. I mean, we broke it down and we talked about it.
Gronk had a good game.
Yeah, Gronk did have a good game. Those are those guys, man, that you can step in, and Tom makes things happen. He's a general. Tom Brady is a sixth finger on one hand. He's another coach out there.
Yeah.
He knows the game. And this coaching staff for Tampa Bay did a fantastic job. Their defensive
coordinator. They did. Todd Bowles.
Fantastic job. What a great job he did. They were ready. Mm-hmm. Their stunts, their blitzes were in coordination with downs and distances of how he was going to set the plays up. Mm-hmm. And Patrick was running for his life most of the night, and that's the facts of the matter.
Now, they ended up with more yards, but a lot of that was after the fact.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Bowles at that time dialed it down a notch.
Probably.
Possibly. Their defense was good. I mean, they just really were.
I mean, the Bucs throwed for 195. They throw for about 200. Kansas City throws for about 240. They had 350 total. Kansas City and the Bucs had about 340. This game was closer on paper than it was, and it's because Kansas City dropped 3 touchdowns thrown into their face.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Kelsey who caught 10 passes or ended up catching 9 or 10. He had a crucial, and he don't drop many. I'd say he didn't have 5 drops all year. He had a crucial 4th down drop. Do you remember that when they went for it on 4th?
And that's part of those things that, kind of go along with what you're doing in the game. I mean, either you're going to do it or you're not. And those are the things that you have to do. You have to do those things.
Well, it was unexpected, and it was an upset. I don't care what anybody says. It was still an upset. And I can give credit. I'm proud of Tom Brady, and I thought they played great. He played good, but it was front 7 for Tampa Bay, which I'll give Sean Kilgrove credit. He was talking about how good they were. We kind of went from people we'd talked to, and that's why we're not just I'm not bragging on me and you, but just from what we'd heard, that's where the game lied. What kind of pressure they were going to get on
defense. And they did, and he was running around crazy, and he just couldn't make it happen. So. What else we got before we're going to cut off here, Dan?
Well, I believe that's about it.
We got everything covered?
I think so.
All right, we went back through our local ball and did all that kind of stuff, and let's see.
I want to say congratulations, and I don't want to go into detail because I'm not sure, to be honest, where all of them signed, but Center had 5 guys signed.
Yeah. I know I seen Nigeria
football scholarships the other day. Connor Elrod.
I know Slade went to Jacksonville.
Yeah. Colton Hill.
Yeah.
Diamond, Elrod, and there was another guy.
Yeah, I know Isaac. He's supposed to be having some. Mm-hmm. He's got some stuff going on too. Brad's boy.
Jake, I just thought about this. I didn't know we were going to do it on the show. I just thought I would mention that. Congratulations to the 5
sure, absolutely,
and Coach Kelly.
Yeah, we're going to have some stuff going on, guys. Later, probably in June.
Mm-hmm. 1st of June.
we're going to have a media day where
bring in a coach.
we're going to bring in all the coaches, and what's going to be at Easy Street. Talk to Mr. Gibbons over there.
Yeah.
And Shane's all game for it. They're going to be having podcasts. They're going to do their weekly. And he said we would fit right in, and he's going to bring us up there and let us set the show up and bring the coaches on, and we'll spend about an hour.
A player.
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably spend an hour or two with some of the coaches. That's just some new news that we'd like to share with you guys. So
I think that'd be good. I think that'd be fun for local people.
Yeah, absolutely. We've never really had a good sit-down media day.
No.
Put it on as media, so we're excited about that. And all right, guys.
We're looking forward to y'all be safe this week with the weather and keep those kids in your prayers.
Yeah, family and kids. A lot of stuff going on, guys. My heart's very heavy, so we're headed over there that way here just a little bit. So anyway, y'all have a good week, and look on the page for news and stuff. I'll be sharing stuff as the week comes on. Be careful of the weather. Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God. Thank you. We love you. Peace out.